Hello folks, welcome to iOS Essential. This tutorial is basically a request from one of my subscriber and she is facing issue with running the timer in background. So we will gonna solve that in this session, but this will not be a code along tutorial. Instead we will walk through the code and see the solution. Let's go ahead and see what's in the package. I'll first run the application and see and we'll show you what is we are building. So we are building a timer application here. We'll have a start, reset and pause button. When we click on start, the timer will start. When we pause, the timer will pause. We can again start the timer from the same. Reset will reset the timer again. And I'll show you what is the current issue is. So I'll just run the application again. So I'll start this timer. If I go in background and if I wait for some seconds, then the timer won't update accordingly. When I again bring up the application, it won't update. So here it's happening because we have gone for a very few seconds, which actually iOS takes will take background, will use it, will keep on running it in the background. So we will see the structure of the application first, okay, and see how we can keep the timer running in background for a long time, let's say more than 10 minutes or so. Okay, so is simply I have a label. So we will just go to the first the storyboard. So I have a label and three buttons: start, pause. These have been auto layouts have been created. So this is the auto layout for label, and then start button pressed, reset button pressed, and pause button pressed. Functions has been created. IB outlets has been created. And on start, what I am doing is I am starting the timer per second, and each second it will call the update label method, which I have below, and it repeats itself. So I'm running it every second. We to optimize it, we can run every milliseconds as well. Okay, reset button resets the context and removes the any saved date. So like if I'm going in background, I'm saving the time what is when the application went background, and when it comes back I'll find the difference between the uh, current date and the date and the time when it went to background. So it will give us how many seconds or how many minutes the application was in the background. Okay, so that is to find the difference so that we can add it to into the running timer. Then reset content is to remove reset all the seconds, minutes, and you know, hours, and label as well to 0 and invalidate the timer. Okay, pause on the pause case we just invalidate the timer. Now I have added two notifications, that is when the application enters background and when the application enters foreground. When application enters background, I'm calling pause when background, and when it enters foreground, I'm calling will enter foreground method. So what I'm doing is when the application goes to background, so I'm invalidating the timer, so it will stop the timer, and then I'm saving the current the date at that particular time into my user default with the key save time. Okay, now when the user goes to background, the that particular time will be saved into the shared user default. Now when user again launches the app from the background, will enter foreground will be called. So when it is called, what I'm doing is I'm fetching the save time from the user default, and then on that what I'm doing is I'm calling a method called refresh. I'm calling a method called get time difference, sorry, which actually pass on the save date and then gives me the difference of hours, minutes and seconds from the current date. Okay, so let's see what the get time difference. So these are all standard methods which you can find. So I'm using a get calendar or current method, and then using date component I'm finding out the difference between any hour component, minute component, second components, and then I'm returning those. So from date to date is what is the difference I'm finding out, and then I'm calling a self refresh method with all these three parameters, and these are the three parameters. So I'm passing what was the difference between hours, minutes and seconds. So in refresh method, what I'm doing is I'm recalculating the values by adding hours to hours, minutes to minutes and seconds to second, then updating my stopwatch label, and then again starting my timer with the same update label method. And what update labels do is nothing. It keeps on incrementing the second to +1. If seconds has gone to 59, then increment the minute to 1 and seconds to 0. If minutes has equal to 60, then increment the hours and minutes to 0. That's it. So the main component here is uh, adding the notifications for background and foreground, and when it's going into background, save the date state to the user default, and when it's coming out, get the state from the user default, get the time difference between each components of hours, minutes and seconds using the default methods. You can find it out here or anywhere, and then calling the refresh method, which will actually add components, setting to the label and restarting it. That's it. And when you run it, it will automatically update by calling these methods. So I'll start the timer. I'll go to home. So there were 4 seconds, so we can 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds. So I think it will be some 10 or 12 seconds that should show up. So now, yeah, 15, 16. So it is increasing. So this resolves our issue of uh, when we are creating a timer application and our application goes to background for a longer time, which Apple doesn't permits, then this is how we can resolve this issue. So hope this tutorial solves the issue of my subscriber. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.